Hello, my name's Amy Bernstein with Bernstein Realty, and I'm delighted that you have tuned into our podcast. Today I have the pleasure of being with Sondra Rosenthal. She's a longtime agent with Bernstein Realty, and she has, I think, 20 years, right, Sondra,
Yes.
that you've been associated with us? So let's see, I started eyeing Sondra and her real estate practice when she was working for another company. And I always just was just so impressed with how hard of a worker you were and how tenacious you were and how you were always seemed very passionate about what you were doing. So it was my greatest pleasure when you came to work for Bernstein Realty. And I will say that your history in getting into real estate sales was kind of a no-brainer. So tell us what you did before you got into real estate that made you kind of a natural for the real estate business.
Well, I was in furniture sales for many, many years, and I was in and out of homes anyway. And my father was in real estate from the time I was 7 years old.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
I didn't know Sydney was in real estate.
From 1958.
Wow. So he was in real estate, and y'all had the furniture business as
And
well.
we had the furniture business.
And that's where you learned your people skills, probably
Exactly.
your how to give great customer service, right?
Right.
And so then what happened? It was a natural fit for you to just say, "Hey, I want to get my real estate license and try this real estate gig."
Yeah. Well, my father, when I was little, he sold houses, even though he was in the furniture business.
Well, that was great.
Yeah. And
So he'd sell the house and then furnish it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Furnish it.
That's
But then-
awesome.
But he did that for many years, and I enjoyed going with Dad when he would do real estate. But a lot of times he was just doing syndicates. So
Gotcha. So then you decided to join him in his real estate practice.
Right.
And so tell me a little bit about what you love about the real estate business, because I know you love it. You and I have talked about it, and I know your clients love you. So tell me what you love the most about the real estate business.
Helping people, but helping them find the house that makes them happy.
Gotcha.
And just loving to see their face when I know that this is the house.
Isn't that great? And so when you take them through the different houses, I know for me, I like to educate the buyer and say, look at this and look at this, because there may be things that they don't notice because their eye is not trained to do that. And I would hate for them to close on the house and go, darn, I wish my real estate agent would have told me that. But I know that you walk them through the house and point out little things. Tell us about that.
Well, I find many times they'll ask me what I'm doing when we walk in, because they're getting excited about the house and I'm looking for cracks. I'm looking for doors that don't shut.
Exactly.
It's a real big deal to me.
Yeah.
Or if I see a crack near the floor or whatever, and I'll tell them, I know you love this house, but I want to show you some things. And
Good.
Then if you want to proceed, our inspector will check it out real thoroughly, but these things worry me, so I'm telling you about it.
Good. So you're kind of the voice of reason, if you will.
Right.
While somebody gets excited about it, you're the grounding factor.
I've been told that they really laugh because I walk in. The first thing I do is
start looking around.
Start looking around.
You're the buzzkill of the houses that they look
exactly.
at. So what do you think sets you apart as a real estate agent for 20 years? I think, first of all, I would say is experience. I think experience matters in everything you do. And so even though the business is changing so much, what do you think sets Sondra Rosenthal apart from other real estate agents that may do the same thing that you do?
I'm in it to help people and not for the money.
That is a huge thing.
Yeah.
So you're in it for the right reasons.
Because I really love helping people get a house or sell a house that they, that people love.
I always tell people that when you do what you love, you'll never work another day in your life, because it feels like enjoyment
It's true.
rather than work.
It never feels like work to me.
So, and that's awesome. What about when you are on the listing side? Tell us what sets you apart when you represent the sellers of a home? What do you think sets you apart? Why do people come back to you time and time again? Because I know you have a lot of your customers that come back to you,
Right.
which is, to me, the greatest compliment in
It
the
is
world,
the
right?
greatest
I mean,
compliment
more
in
than
the
the
world.
commission check, the fact that they call you and say that you sold me my house and I would like to move on to another house now is the biggest compliment. And I know you and I feel the same in that. What do you think sets you apart as a listing agent when you work with the seller?
I stay on top of, the people that go through the house. I watch to make sure that our comps are close, because sometimes if the comps aren't good, we won't get any showings.
Gotcha.
And when we stop getting showings, I tell them ahead of time. When the showings stop, that means
We need to sit down.
We need to sit down, and we need to probably lower our price
And
or
reevaluate.
And reevaluate.
Yes, especially in today's market, when there's not that much on the market, if you're not getting showings and your showings slow down, you have to go look and say, what are people looking at? Because
Exactly.
with so little on the market, they should be looking at ours. So you adjust the pricing and you give them the
Right.
feedback on all of that.
Exactly.
Which is great. Well, I think one of the reasons that you joined Bernstein Realty is that I think you really enjoyed working with Mary, and you really love the company, and I love all that. But I think one of the things that you're most excited about is our relocation department. So,
The relocation department.
and we love you. So the reality is, in the relocation department, you do a great job. And part of, I think, you're welcome. Part of what I think makes a great relocation agent is knowing all the different areas of Houston. So tell us a little bit about what the relocation buyer expects of you and what skill set you have to serve that relocation buyer.
Well, one thing, they want to know about schools.
Gotcha.
And they want to know areas that, that there are a lot of children, because there's some areas that have gotten older that haven't gentrified yet.
Yes.
And they don't want to move their children into an area that they won't find friends to play with.
Gotcha.
But, I know the areas that I work, I know them well.
And the areas that you work, can you give us an idea of I know you go as far north as...
I go to Conroe. I've been to Willis.
So you go to Willis.
I've been to Willis.
Conroe.
I've been to Liberty. I've been to a lot of different cities. But Conroe, I've sold several in Conroe, and I've sold a lot in the Woodlands over the years.
Yes.
In fact, I started when the furniture business. I was selling furniture out in the Woodlands
Wow.
when it was brand new.
Yes. So as far north as the Woodlands, Kingwood probably as well. You still in
Kingwood, lots in Spring. A lot of homes in Spring.
Gotcha. And what about how far west have you
Far
gone?
west? Well, I'm Katy, and I think Katie's probably
The furthest
the
west.
furthest west.
Yes.
And Richmond and Sugarland.
Sugarland, so down south, Sugarland. And,
Right. I'd go down to as far as Galveston.
Gotcha. And what about Fulshire?
Fulshire too.
Yes, Fulshire seems to be
I've sold in Fulshire. I forgot about that.
Fulshire seems to be the new buzz today, right? You can get these little ranchettes and nice property in Fulshire. So I think that's absolutely a wonderful thing. So what's really great is when you know all these areas, and then of course let's talk about your in your backyard. I know you live in West University,
Right.
and so obviously Inner Loop you can do blindfold.
I've lived there.
Yes.
Well, I've never lived more than 5 miles from where I am my whole life.
Yes,
Right.
in the Galleria area as well. So
Absolutely.
you really, there's not an area that you're not familiar with. And I think that really is great, because when a relocation buyer comes to town, they sometimes have an idea where they want to be, close to their company, and they care about their commute time. But they really want to see all these different areas to make sure that they have
They do.
considered it. So if you had to look at your career in 20 years, what do you think is, what tour has been the longest? You've taken somebody from the north to the south, or
Oh, yeah.
or tell us about
I
that.
remember one day I was with a reload client. We went up to Conroe, then we went to Tomball, we went to Katy, then we went we went to Spring, we went back up to Conroe
Yes.
the same day, and then we went back to Katy, and then back to spring. I came back here to the office to bring them back, and then I had to go to Clear Lake
Oh my
that
gosh.
afternoon. That
But
was
they
one
really
of the
felt like
longest days.
they knew the city, probably.
Oh
when
yeah,
you
they
got through.
did.
Yeah.
They did. But I used to tell the relo clients when they would come to town, they would call me from out of town and they'd say they wanted to know about the different areas. And they'd say, oh, I want to look in this area or that area. And knowing what they were looking for, I knew it wasn't their area, but you don't tell them that. You just go and you say, you're going to find every neighborhood is different.
Yes.
And each one is going to speak to you differently. And when you get there, you'll either love it or there won't be your area.
Yeah. And that's the only way sometimes to know it. It's like a date.
You have to go. It's right, like a date.
You have to go and you have to grind through it.
Exactly.
And then you know that you either want to go on another date or you want to just say that you've been there and done that, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So, and all the different areas of the city have different things. So you have, the schools are different in each area. The tax rates are different in each area. The
Exactly.
amenities are different in each area. The commute times are different in each area. So I know that you really do your homework and you really strive to educate those clients. And I thank you for that because you do a great job. And I think before we started the podcast, you were saying you have somebody that you sold a house to that called you back and now wants to sell that house.
Yes. And
Isn't that fantastic?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I just, we're supposed to close on Tuesday, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Well, Sondra, thank you for taking the time to visit with me. I know that you were a little bit apprehensive about doing a podcast.
Yes, I did.
But I'm not apprehensive about you sharing your talent and your skills with the public because I think that you have a great skill set and you need to shout it out loud. So I'm glad you did it. Glad you got out of your box and agreed to do a podcast with me. I appreciate it very much. And you did a great job. So thank you very much. And if people want to get a hold of you, they can call you at 713-932-1032 at Bernstein Realty. Thank you for being a huge part of Bernstein Realty and a real valuable part of our team. Just really appreciate you.
Thank
you. What is it? Your home is
our expertise.
There you have it. So thank you for tuning in.